So hi, Christina and I are going to teach you a specific exercise class today that will help develop those areas that we talked about in our opening video about osteoporosis and exercise. So the props that you're going to need for today are a ball,
A towel for your head.
we have a little pillow for when we lie on our stomach, and we've got a block. If you don't have a block, you can use another pillow. Always can make up props for home. So the first thing I want to talk about is you've been sitting, working at your computer, or you've been in a long car ride, or anything during the day. And a lot of times we aren't standing up during our day. We do maybe sitting, slouching too much. We come home and we just want to slouch, sit, eat dinner, sit, watch TV, sit, look at our computer. So we're going to think about what to do. No sitting, go ahead and lie on your back to decompress and open the front of your spine. And often this helps for back pain also. So get yourself comfortable you can lie on your carpet, you can lie on a mat, and just relax your body and feel the whole body, the shoulders open up, and the back of the neck lengthens, and you just go into your breathing. You're in your neutral spine. You just breathe, inhale, the belly fills with air, exhale, the belly falls. So right away, just doing this, Christina could have her legs straight also. And then we decompress even further and unload the front of the spine. So just that position alone. So go ahead and bend your knees, Christina, or straighten them, whichever you're comfortable. Now we're going to go through a series of head press, shoulder press, buttock squeeze to decompress the spine. It can be done on your back, it could be sitting in your chair or driving in your car or up against a wall. So she's going to do it 3 times. We don't need to do a lot of these. Sometimes we feel little adjustments of our back as we do it. And we're going to start off with a nice deep breath. Belly fills with air, and we exhale. She's going to tuck her chin in and then press the back of her head as though there was sand underneath her head, and she's imprinting her head into the mat, lengthening the back of her spine. You can see the back of her neck get long. And then release on her inhale. So a contraction followed by relaxation. And she's going to do a couple more. And you can see she's incorporating her breathing really nicely. And doing one more. So when she does this, her inhalation and exhalation just go right nice along with that.
I'm pressing the back of my head into my towel pretty firmly on that exhale too.
So she's making an imprint into her towel instead of into that sand. You don't want to lift your chin up or draw your chin way in. You want to keep it pulling straight down. And she's going to move from her head, and at home I want you to just inhale, exhale, and push your shoulders and shoulder blades into the mat, feeling your chest lift up and feeling that's the shoulder blades come back, and those muscles that we want to strengthen in the upper back start to contract as she does that. And then relax, and she's going to do, and you do at home, inhale, exhale, press your shoulders into the mat. Trying not to tense other areas of your body. Just feel the contraction between your shoulder blades and then relax. So a total of 3 times. If it feels good, do 5 times.
It's hard not to tense up your neck, so focus between your shoulder blades, squeezing those shoulder blades together.
And then you're going to travel down to the buttocks. So we're going to inhale, exhale, tighten your buttocks, tight, tighter, tightest, and relax on the inhale. Try it with your legs straight. Christina, try your legs straight, and let's do inhale, exhale, and tighten your buttocks, tight, tighter, tightest, and relax. And we're going to do one more. Just feel your body elongate, open in the front, and get strong in the back of our body. We're trying to strengthen the back of the body and open the front of the body with these. How's that, Christina? How does that feel?
Feels good. Really feels like I'm decompressing my low back when I do that.
Excellent. So you could lie down and do these in the morning. You could do this at night before going to bed to just decompress, or make it a series through as we're doing today. Then what we're going to do is elongate the spine completely. So she's going to try and stretch her arms up over her head, and she's going to point her toes. This is morning stretch. She's going to take a breath in, exhale, and pretend like she's on a rack and someone's separating her ribs and her pelvis getting long. So we still want to try to not bring our shoulders up around our ears and feel that elongation. If it feels uncomfortable, just do your legs or do one arm at a time. You can do opposite one arm and the opposite leg. Whatever feels good. You don't try not pinching in your shoulder. If it's too much for your shoulder, bring your arms down. But otherwise, just bring your body long and visualize if you were standing up, you'd be elongating and reaching out through your feet. And then relax and do one more. She's going to do one more. Everybody do one more with her. Take a deep breath in, exhale and reach and lengthen and feel that waist get longer and taller, where we tend to lose our height, which is around the waist with osteoporosis. And then release and bring your arms back down to the side. So now we're going to work your core. So your core is your pelvic floor, your abdominals, and your back to really hold and elongate and get that spine stable. So bending your knees, Christina, we're going to show, she's going to lift up her right leg, inhale, exhale, tap her toe to the floor, and inhale up, and exhale down. So she's in neutral spine, feeling her abdominals, exhaling on the down movement. She could do one leg at a time, so let's do 3 more there. Relaxing your neck. Good, and go ahead and switch to the other side. We're going to do 8 on this side. If you feel any kind of popping in your hips, just try to really pull in that hollow above your pubic bone, navel, and ribs, funneling them down, and they'll still come back to your neck. Feel this in your abdomen. And then on her 8th one, she can bring both legs up. And now we can try, let's put your arms to the ceiling, Christina, and make sure, let's show how we want to anchor your shoulder blades onto the mat. And now we're going to tap our right toe down and add our left arm in opposites. So making it harder, you can stick with just single legs, or even if it feels uncomfortable with your legs, just do your arms. Right now we're just progressing it and exhaling, working our core in a safe position. We're not coming up into the crunch position, which shortens the front of the spine. So great job, Christina, nice and strong. And keep that breathing going. And let's do 4 more. So that's 4, 3, 2. Remember, you can always put your one foot down and do single legs if that's too hard. So now we're going to do a modified chest lift. So we said that we don't want to shorten the front of our spine due to the risk of compression fractures with osteoporosis. So we don't want to say we can't do crunches. We're going to do crunches in a safer position for the spine. So Christina's going to put the little round ball at the bra line, and I'm going to give her a block so she has somewhere to place her head down once she gets into position.
The ball's going to just go right about the bra line, just below your shoulder blades, just at the end. Sometimes that's hard for people to know where
and
they
you could
put
use
this.
a pillow. Sorry, Christina. You could use a pillow, and if you don't have a ball at home, a pillow for your head or a pillow at your bra line rolled up and anchored together in a nice roll. And then she's in position. Her lower body is in neutral spine. She's not tucked under, but she still can work her pelvic floor here. Her ribs are going to funnel down, and she's going to come up in a crunch. So she's going to maintain her little peach, that space between her chin and her chest. Her arms are open, or if it bothers your shoulders, bring your elbows in just slightly. She's going to take an inhale, and when she exhales, We're going to funnel those ribs and have the ribs almost push into the ball to lift you up so that you're going into extension and then coming up to our neutral place instead of coming up all the way from the floor into full flexion. She's just coming from extension into flexion. And let's try and do 8 more like that. Great, looks good.
Remember, you're leading with your chest, not your head. Your chest is what's following up to the ceiling.
Good. Everybody at home, if you want to turn this to an oblique, we're going to visualize bringing your left rib cage towards your right hip and keeping your arms the same, just bringing like a crisscross across your, so left rib to the right pelvis and hip and the right to the left as we alternate. So our arms never move. It's all through the center of our body. So we're using those muscles without twisting and crunching. From neutral, bringing those obliques around and then feeling deep underneath that compression to help keep our spine long. Good, for 4 more. That's 4 and 4, good. And 3 and 2 more. Great job, Christina. I'm glad it's you and not me. And then coming back, she could just stay here. Feel the opening of your chest. So this demonstrates perfectly the opening of the chest that we want with osteoporosis, the open and osteopenia, the opening and unloading those vertebrae that are stacked on top of each other and don't like to be compressed so much in the front. And most people are able to do this with varying degrees of support underneath the head and the chest. Some people, you want to make sure your chin is not up so that her neck is nice and supported in good alignment right now. So let's take that ball out, Christina, and let's do our next exercise. We're going to use it home. Let's have our head prop, and we're going to be on our back again, and we're going to do an exercise called 90-90 abdominals. And in this position, again, we're not bringing a crunch into it, but we're having our hands on our thighs, our knees and our hips at 90 degrees. And we're going to do a little bit of a pelvic tilt as we press into our thighs. So you can see her go from pelvic tilt to neutral, pelvic tilt to neutral. When she tips, exhale, inhale, release. Neck and shoulders relaxed as she tips. So this is safer with the low back. We're not flexing the upper spine. We're keeping everything in neutral there, and we're just doing a little pelvic tilt. A good exercise sometimes with those of you who might have back pain, stenosis, but understanding the difference between neutral spine, where our soup bowl is level, and now tipping into a little bit of a flat back, the low back only. So let's do 5 more. There's 5. She's already done about 5. Usually in Pilates we do anywhere from 5 to 10 with our exercises. So 3 more. Inhale and exhale. And 2 more. If this was really difficult, you could actually have your legs up on a ball at home if you have one of the big exercise balls. It would work perfectly, or you could put them supported on the couch or somewhere nearby. 1 more, exhale, inhale, and release. And bring 1 knee to your chest. Let's just take a break here and bring 1 knee to your chest. Stretch out the other leg, think long through the neck. Take a couple breaths there, and then we're going to switch to the other side. Great, perfect. So now feet flat on the mat. We're going to do a stretch to our hamstrings, just a real oscillating stretch. So Christina's going to grab her thigh and hold on and keep your knee directly over your hip as you stretch your leg up and down. So it's a hamstring stretch, but it's really a gentle one. So for those of you who might have sciatica, the oscillating stretch is just easier on the fascia. and just breathing and stretching out and getting ready for leg circles with a nice stable spine, strengthening our hips and strengthening our core always. Good, one more stretch. So you're going to do this again, 8 to 10 oscillations. If that feels like too much, you can drop down to 5, but usually again 5 to 10. Now go ahead and switch sides. And up. And she's in her neutral spine. Good. Try 3 more times. Feel the length of the back of your leg. Feel that loosen up. And pay attention to one side to the other. One side could be very different than the other. And it gives you a cue, so when your next exercise, you might need to keep your knee a little more bent. All right, go ahead, Christina, and put that leg down. And now let's put your right leg straight up in the sky. And if you need a bent knee because your hamstrings you found were really tight on that side, you can do a bent knee, and you could do more of a, Christina, why don't you show them a stirring? So here's a stirring in that hip joint. So again, now remember, we're working for osteoporosis or any strengthening exercise, and we're looking at the hip now. So she'll show you a full circle if your hamstrings are more flexible, and the biggest progression would be to have one leg straight and the other leg to the sky. There's a lot more stretch in that. The point is to keep the hips down, keep the ribs down, keep the neck long, and breathe. Feel the movement like you're painting, making a painting on the ceiling with the tip of your toe as a paintbrush, circling about 8 times in one direction, and then we're going to switch direction. Some people feel more comfortable with smaller circles, and sometimes it feels good to have the larger ones. So they do little different things. The smaller are little tiny fine control, but Christina's really strong in her core, so she's able to take her range of motion out there. Nice job. And you went both directions, right?
Uh-huh.
So she did it for me. She made it easier. Go ahead and put your right leg down onto your mat, and let's do your other side, left side. So same thing if you need to do your stirs. Otherwise, and stirring, we're going to go in both directions. Otherwise, go into your straight leg, whatever is best for you and works for you. And here's the full expression with both legs working, stabilizing. She's making great artwork on the ceiling. She's an natural artist, right, Christina?
You can always bend the other knee if you need to stabilize. Keep using your breath. Exhale as you go down, inhale as you come up. And it is harder on one side versus the other.
It's interesting about Pilates. We usually do both sides in most things, and it's amazing to learn about your body and the differences, because none of us are perfectly symmetrical. Very nice. So finish up, everybody at home, finish up your second part of your circles in the direction, and when you finish up, just bring your knees down and have a bent knee position. And we're going to move on to our right side. So as Christina gets into position, she's going to make sure her head's supported. She can come up on her elbow. She can be all the way down with her head supported. We want to pretend like you're leaning against a wall, head, mid-back, and low back lined up against an imaginary wall. Her chin drawn in, her ribs drawn in, her hip is long here. We're starting to work the sides of our hip, our gluteus medius muscle that needs to be very strong as we walk, and we need to strengthen it to protect our hips against fracture. So go ahead and straighten out your left leg. She can do her heel reaching away and lift side up to the side first for 10. Breathing and feeling the stability. She's using her hand to keep her waist from pulling up towards her and shortening into her ribs. And that gives you a little mouse house down here. So we want to keep that little waist lifted as we do our side lifts, usually about 10 times. Because if it's easy, it's too easy, we need to make something a little bit more difficult to challenge those hips. So now we're going to do some circles, and she's going to come forward and then come back using her hip extensors. So the muscles of our buttock that we need to make sure are strong, holding your whole body still as you finish up 5 in this direction, 4, breathing, 3, and 2, and 1. Nice job, Christina, and switch directions. Good. Good, working her whole side of her hip and her buttocks. Nicely. So finish up your 8 to 10. I'm a bad counter, so Christina's helping me out with her counting today.
I'm a bad counter too.
That's a real good thing about Pilates teachers. They don't know how to count, but
You have
it's
to go in your
famous.
body. There's so much
You
going
listen
on.
to your body.
Just
That's
remember
right.
to breathe. Yeah, listen to your body.
There's a rhythm to it. Excellent job, Christina. Now let's switch and go to the other side. So you're just going to flip around and go to your left side. And we're going to look very often, people, especially if you have a curve to your spine, which is common in osteoporosis with a little scoliosis. Sometimes one side is really different than the other. We're still going to keep our sides long, reach out of the foot, ribs in, long neck, inhale, exhale, and do side leg lifts. So lifting up and down. And look at that side. How does that feel? Remember how the other side felt. Good. Exhale and lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do circles. So circle around. Feel the buttocks working back, but keeping the abdominals, keeping your whole spine stable, lined up against that wall. As you work your whole hips, side, front, back, strengthening those bones. Let's do 5 more in that direction, and 4, and 3, 2, and 1, and switch directions. Even that can be different, can be very smooth in one direction, and we reverse. Just make your circle. What feels comfortable to you, feeling the whole thing. You may be feeling a burn in your hip right now. Not pain, but a burn, as though those muscles are working. They're getting tired. Good, and she's feeling it in her right hip, and it's powerful. We learn to strengthen the sides and the back of our buttocks and hips. So powerful to help us with our walking. Which, by the way, is one of the best bone density exercises. A couple more, Christina, and then you're done. That we can do is being weight-bearing and walking, dancing, activities like that. When you're doing higher impact, like jogging, is great when you're younger. Once there's a little bit more fragility in the bone, high impact is not recommended at that point. Nice job, Christina, and go ahead and rest.
You can always pound out
your
yeah, or use a foam roller to massage this out.
Or a stick, if you have a handy stick, or a rolling pin. Those are great for just rolling out those sore muscles. Very important, especially if you haven't done this before, because sometimes I've learned myself, taking a new exercise class, when my hips are sore, I sometimes do Christina's class, and I had to learn. I need to massage those hips out to loosen them up so that I didn't get sore post-exercise.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.